We are in the hot and sweaty doldrums of summer, and it is hot.
It's so hot.
Now, it is so. How hot is it, Alexis?
It's so hot you could fry an egg. Is that what you're going for?
Ask me how hot it is.
I don't want to because it's going to be okay. Darryl, how hot is it these days?
It is so hot that over last weekend, dozens of people unfortunately had to be hospitalized because of the heat on Jeju. Did you know that? We're in the middle of this heat wave,
well,
and it is
trying to make a joke, and you just
dangerous. I know. I didn't know what to do that.
To be a funny little intro. Well, you crushed that.
I was trying to be funny too, but then I don't know how to segue into that. But last week it was really bad. Last week it was really hot.
It was so hot. I'm hoping this is going to date this episode a little bit, but we got a typhoon rolling in, and I really hope that with the typhoon rolling in and then back out, it takes some of the humidity.
Yeah, right. Like, and I mean,
wishful thinking.
I get really, fingers crossed, right? I get this stuff. I don't know how to get away from because it always just makes you so sad and worried and sad about our planet. But like there was over the weekend, there was 47 people that were hospitalized with health, heat-related illnesses. Thankfully, nobody died, right?
Right.
And before that, on July, it was only 30 people, which is still
the
32
total of
many.
July versus 40 in one weekend.
In like 3 or 4 days of August, right? Okay. So it's really, really hot. So everybody be careful out there. Now, hey everybody, this is Darryl. I'm just editing the podcast, and I wanted to come in with a quick note concerning the figures from the Jeju Special Self-Governing Province. Now, the press release states, until the 3rd, a total of 47 people with heat disease occurred in Jeju. Now, the issue with this is I had assumed that this meant for the month of August. So the first 3 days in August, 47 people were sick. Now, it doesn't state just for the August, nor does it really state when it began. It could be during the whole period of this heat wave, including July when 30 people got sick. But either way, the first 3 days in August, there were quite a few people who were sick, at least 15, 17 to be precise, up to 47. I just wish this press release was a little bit clearer. But I apologize for any confusion, and I hope that clears something, what that would be up. I don't know. Now, back to the podcast. One of the interesting facts about the weekend was about the highest temperature that we had. Yep. And it just shows you how different the island is. So in Jeju-shi, it was on the 4th, August 4th, it was 34.2 degrees.
Jeez.
34 point, that's Celsius for, I don't know, for everybody out there. I can't convert that for you. I'm just Canadian. In Soggy-po, it was 30.8 degrees.
So 4
almost
degrees,
a 4-degree difference. That's how drastically it's 26 kilometer difference.
Yeah,
this is 26 kilometers, and it was a 4-degree difference.
Mountain, man. Not one person that lives on this island doesn't recognize that going over the mountain changes everything.
Yeah,
the vibe, the weather, the vibe, everything. So just chalk that up to it too. Yeah,
everything's cooler down south.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, East and West too.
You said it so smugly too. For God's sakes.
I know.
Such a smug man.
I want to be cool, and you
know what? I'm going to crush you right now. So let's just remember, this is the first summer ever that you guys down south had the, excuse my French, your shittier weather the whole entire summer versus up here.
No, I think
there was like 2 weeks in a row you didn't even see the sky, and we were having blue skies up here. So. I've never seen quite that before, because usually it's the opposite, where Soggy-po has the, it's got the good stuff going down, and north side is just like, ugh, but totally opposite this summer.
Last summer was like that too. It was really bad, but the heat is a problem. Last year it was probably like a month and a half. Right.
Yeah, but that was the whole islands versus I feel like this time we really were having blue skies the whole time. You guys were posting videos of yet another rainstorm.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's how self-centered I am. I live on the south side, I'm just like,
think about us up north. Yeah.
But so the heat is actually not just on humans, but on livestock too. It's killed thousands of animals, which are really bad on all these different. Yeah, and so I thought this would be a good idea with the heat, and hopefully, and it seems like this might persist for at least another month.
Don't say that. Do you knock on wood right now? Jeez. Good grief. Okay, so what were you about to say before I just got angry at you?
you get out a lot more than I do, and so I thought, well, why don't you educate us in some ways that beat the heat on Jeju? Because all I know is about staying in my house.
Well, listen, I got 5 perfect ideas for things to do on Jeju. It's not just Jeju, but it is, Jeju. Okay, you ready?
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Let's start with the good old bingsu. You go to a cafe, you could even go to a karaoke, and you get yourself some shaved ice with some crazy toppings, and that's bingsu.
Bingsu. It's popular nowadays with
so popular.
What is it?
What's always been
milk? Shaved milk.
Shaved milk. So one thing I thought was interesting when I was thinking about this list, your mind starts wondering. One thing about bingsu, and I'll make this real quick. When I first got here, I remember going my boss, we went out, we did the usual dinner, and then we go out to karaoke afterwards, just the traditional stuff. But I also remember going with friends, and you get a karaoke room, and bingsu was one of the service foods they would give. And I remember thinking, what is this? Had a tomato on it. And, it was literally just shaved ice. And I was like, this is just awful. Why are people eating this? Bingsu is now an art form. Like when you come to Korea, you must go to a cafe and have a specialty bingsu. Like the bingsu that's out there nowadays is just art. It's art. There's so many delicious toppings, so many different flavors. And the look of it, man, yeah. So
do you have a favorite?
That's my favorite. I actually don't. So I'm going to date myself here right now. I haven't tried bingsu since my first year here when it was what I talked about, with just like the tomato. And I was so much like, why are we even eating this? That I've never gotten it again, even though I'll go to a cafe and I'll see pictures of it now. And I'm like, wow, I would try that. But I just haven't yet. So.
Yeah.
That's number 5.
That's a really good one. That's really good. Okay.
Number 4, and this is a broad one, but I'm going to make it specific. Museums. But specifically for Jeju, the art museums. We have 2 amazing art museums on Jeju, and they are constantly trying to outdo themselves with new showings and different styles and things like that. I really, really, really think the art museums here are fantastic, and they're fairly cheap, especially if you show your Jeju ID if you're living here, and you get the aircon. So you walk around, and you see amazing art, and you get the free aircon.
So what are the names? Which are the 2 museums?
So now my brain, I knew you were going to, as soon as I said that, I was like, I should have written that down.
Maybe that would be useful.
So the Jeju Arts Museum, and this is the one that is up past Jeju Museum of Art, the JMOA, if you will. Right. So that's the one that's in the city. And that is just up past the old Loveland. And that's like a 2-floor place, and it's huge. I have seen some of the best artists ever go through there. So that's one. And then we have a lot of little ones all over. In fact, I think probably in general, I want to say there's 4 or 5 art museums, some differing in size. One is Bante Museum, that's close to you in Sogyepo. The other is Art Museum Jeju. That's also in Jeju-si. And then one very different style that we have here is the Bunker des Luminaires. I'm probably not saying that. And that's all the way in the east side. So those are 4 of the popular ones, and they get a little bit more expensive. But the first 2 are fairly cheap, and just make sure you show your Jeju ID.
That's a really good point. There are a lot of really good museums. Art museum in Sogyepo as well, and
that's the Bronte one, and amazing art that goes through there. But in general, Jeju is filled with museums. Some not so great, so and then others absolutely fantastic. So mostly, I'm just saying, take advantage of these really cool cultural things while enjoying aircon that you're not paying for. Well, technically not paying for.
Not paying directly for. Number three.
Number three. Okay, so this is very specific, but this is a personal one. Hala Library. Hala Library is up here in the city, but Hala Library has an extensive English section for children and a fairly good English section for adults on the second floor. And the reason I like the children, if you got children, they can get the books and they have like a fun little sitting area for the kids and they can just tuck themselves away. But at the adult section, you can look at the books, but they also have a wide variety of magazines. All in English. And you're not paying for the aircon. And what I like about that, they also have a little cafeteria in Hala Library. And then they have a big outdoor area if you have children and you want them to run around and get sweaty and tired and then bring them inside. It's just it's a full service library, if you will.
That's great. Yeah, I remember. I think I knew somebody who helped curate the English collection there, and it was really important to them.
Oh, and for people that are listening, you can always donate your old books to them. Just an FYI, especially if they're in obviously good condition.
And isn't that near one of the art libraries? Art museum?
It's not right next to the museum, but it's next to the performance center.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah.
So that's my three, and that's a personal one, like I said. But again, just to be able to tuck away and you want to just get out of the dead of the heat for the afternoon, a couple hours, it's just a perfect place. And throughout that library, there's all these little rooms and tucked away chairs so you can find a quiet place for yourself and enjoy the aircon.
So do you have any, so you went to like museums and books. Do you have anything for like a less...
more entertaining?
Myself, yeah. Somebody who wants to...
So this is the summer for me. I started just doing this last summer with the COVID when we couldn't go anywhere and we're kind of stuck on the island. I started looking into hotels that have pools. And I will just tell you, hotels/pensions. And I will just say, this is my number two. There are so many places now on Jeju that either have rooftop pools or pensions with in-ground pools. They are all over the place right now. And you can easily search Agoda and Booking.com and, use the search feature and just put pools in and go. And especially right now, everything's fairly cheap right now because the economy has tanked. And the government thought that more money would be getting spent during vacation season, but they just announced that they realized that people didn't have enough money to even take vacations anywhere in Korea. So a lot of the hotels right now are doing pretty cheap specials.
That's fascinating. And you are like royalty of pools. You guys should follow her on Instagram and see all the pools that she takes.
I'm just showing off my skills. I'm like, yep.
Last year, my wife and her friends, they rented these pensions, these houses out in the middle of nowhere. And they rented them specifically because inside each floor, there was a weird pool. Like, I don't know how to explain. Like, it's really weird to have a pool inside the house like that. Because it wasn't like a big pool. It was literally a pool where you throw the kids. So they... Like
a little bathtub weird thing.
But bigger, like they took a room and they converted it into a pool, right? And so they're like, you're right, there's all these places that have pools now,
tons and tons and tons of places. And I don't think they're not all of them are necessarily what probably Westerners are used to, like big monstrous things with diving boards, but a lot of them do have diving boards and stuff like that. And then others are specifically just so you can get in the water and cool off.
Oh, that's perfect. That's a good one.
Now you ready for my
than the
number one
library? Yeah, give it to me.
So, cold pools. Jeju is known for cold pools, and do you know what a cold pool is, Darryl?
A pool that is cold. No,
I wish I actually. You know what? I wish when we should have asked. I should have asked someone. I don't even know what the Korean name for it is because I just don't know. But a cold pool is from natural spring water that travels and puddles up somewhere specifically. And back in the day, Jeju people either made pools around them or walls around them or like little walls around them. Cold pools.
Okay. I thought, okay.
What are you thinking?
No, I've seen
know what
pools
people.
sort of like that, but people bathe in them.
Yes, but that's what I mean. So when okay, I could have done better explaining this. Cold was pools is what we call them, but they're not literally pools. They're natural phenomenons that Jeju people have made into bathing thing, but it's not. It's for like it's like a Wim Hof plunge, really, but it's natural, and you don't, and it's all summer long. It's ice cold. It doesn't matter if it's 40 degrees out. Those cold pools will still be ice cold. So I'm going to give two of my favorites. One is Samyang. And that is, and these are mostly just people, just so you know, if you're going to ones at the beach, you need to know that they're male and female and make sure you walk into the right one because that's awkward. So my first one is Samyang, the black sand beach. And so if you're looking at Samyang Beach, you keep going to the right and you'll actually see these structures of Jeju black rock. And you go in and inside is a cold pool and it's natural. It's all built out of the black rock and it's beautiful. My second favorite
was pretty stunning.
My second favorite is down in your hood. It's Hwasun. And Hwasun is the golden sand beach. And if you go into Hwasun and you go kind of off onto one of the little side roads, there's also two cold pools, but they literally made those still male and female separated. They made those into small little swimming pools. And that is some of the coldest water I've ever been in my entire life. And you can take a shower in them. So it's you can put your clothes in a locker, you can take a cold shower and you can get into the swimming pool, tiny mini swimming pool. So that's my second favorite.
Can I add one quick one to that?
Well, maybe.
In Yere, there is Yere, which is right beside me. In Yere.
It's too busy. It's too busy.
Probably, but it wasn't always. It's a place where the water meets the ocean. The water that like the
travels
snow
down,
melt comes down, so it fills this pool, and then they've actually created like a tidal wall. So you could be in one part of it where it's just the cold water, and then you can hop the wall if you want, and then to go and be in the ocean water. So it's where the two waters meet, which is
my favorite thing about that place is it's the view. Like you get in and you're literally just staring out at the ocean, But when I say packed, I mean packed. It is so busy, and I don't even know if it's worth anyone's time.
So maybe that's okay. So people don't listen to Darryl's suggestions. That's fine. That's fine. Those are great.
5. Good luck to you, people.
Beat the heat. So it's been a while since April 4-3, and it's been a while since we talked about the controversy that erupted on Jeju surrounding banners that were erected prior to the April 3rd memorial. There has been updates about that since we've last talked. Now,
and specifically the banners that were shredded.
Well, so the banners, so there was 80 banners that were put up. 50, about 60 of them, fewer than 60 of them were slashed, and then the governors took them down. And the mayors of both cities, the mayors of both cities used their powers to take them down, saying that they dishonored the Jeju people. Now, that is because the banners said that the Sasam, that the April 3rd uprising, the specific uprising on that day of 1948, the banners said that was done at the order of Kim Il-sung and his North Korean party.
North Korean, right.
Which we don't have any proof of, and is sort of, and by blaming it on, by saying that was the cause of the uprising, kind of sort of justifies somewhat the slaughtering of the people in order to squelch a communist uprising, essentially, is kind of what that's saying. Now, the update is, after those banners were taken down, the political groups that put them up filed a complaint with the police to investigate if the mayors had violated the law by taking them down, free speech laws. Because
interesting.
And so they investigated them, and they recently, I believe it was last month, they came back and decided that what the actions of the mayors did was lawful. So it's tough, right?
Because I certainly didn't agree with the banners.
Mm.
But free speech is a tricky one. That's all I'll say. You know,
Right.
America, it's something we in the U.S. I shouldn't have said America. In the U.S. is something that we're constantly talking about. You know, the cancel culture versus being able to, you know, have free speech, and but then there's free speech with consequences. Anyways, it's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Well, the decision from the Jeju Eastern Police Station said that was based on previous Supreme Court decisions and the Constitutional Court. But this gets a little bit more complicated, because last month Jeju politicians submitted an amendment to the Jeju 4.3 special law, which is a really important law that people may not be aware of, that that kickstarted investigations in 2000 that came up with the museum, that led to the report that was accepted by the government, and it led to the apology.
The apology, which is very important.
Which is huge, right? Yeah. So, and this law gets amendment every once in a while to address certain concerns. So that's not the important part. The important part is that they're trying to amend it to make it a criminal offense to maliciously distort or slander Jeju 4.3. They want to make it punishable with up to 5 years imprisonment or a fine up to 50 million won. That's
well, I mean, okay, can I tell you, we don't need to go into this. Okay, I don't want to go into it. Let's keep this short. But listen, the first thing that pops into my head, especially as a female, you're saying that people that slander 4.3 will do more time than a rapist would, or that a child molester would.
Well, it's
and that's
up
essentially
to, right?
Up it's to not, right. I mean, but I'm saying, okay, well, okay.
I don't.
Well, what do you think? What do you think? Is it a good idea to make it punishable, or is it just a little out there?
Oh, well, we don't even really understand what Jeju Sasam was. We don't even have a proper name for it. It's always what my thing is. So how are you gonna? We have that tomb that's waiting inside the museum to be etched with the proper epithet and with the proper name of what Jeju Sasam is, and we're considering passing a law to jail people with slander. And we don't fully understand what it is. Yeah, right? We know a lot, but still, I don't. I think my opinion is kind of clear on that. I feel like I'm missing something here, and
I think this is a knee-jerk reaction, which many countries do. I mean, I certainly my home country does it. It's very knee-jerk, and then now, do I
lots
think
of knees and lots of jerks?
Right, lots of knees, lots of jerks. I think those banners were unbelievably offensive, especially to do it so close to the actual day when there were so many people coming to the island or coming out, of their villages and coming out to participate in the ceremony. And so having them have to see that is incredibly offensive. And then to show up to the ceremony and cause all their nonsense that they cause at the ceremony too,
Yeah.
So, I mean, you want to take care of people and families that have hurt so much, but how and what is the most appropriate thing is, to be determined. And I'm not sure that's it, though.
Yeah, I don't know either. But so the banners were based on comments that Tae Young-ho, who's a Seoul politician, made, right?
And we talked about that in previous podcasts. You guys can go check that out.
Yeah, and an expert committee that was working with this law. I think you have to, when you submit a law, there's research that goes into it, blah, blah, blah.
Right. And
they found it. Yeah, and they found out that his comment this is quote, severely damaged, end quote, the honor of innocent victims of bereaved families of Sasam.
And I do agree. Yeah. It opened the door for those banners. It said, okay, this is an opinion we can have. And in fact, we're going to have it. And in fact, we're going to flaunt it. So...
But the thing is politics, right?
Politics, there's a reason he did it.
But also depending on what administration's in power changes what the definition of Sasam or how it's treated is. And, it's right now
what honor you give it, and that has changed with each president. Moon versus Yoon, sorry, my cats are doing WWE wrestling over here, and it's very distracting.
But
okay, that's a good update, Darryl. Very good update.
And one.
Is there more update?
No, well, my daughter's coming. Yes, sweetie. Hold on. And yeah, no, that was really great. I think we're gonna go to our Jeju dialect corner now. Is probably a good time.
Yes.
So let's go to Jeju dialect corner with Juyoung Han. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's that time again for our famous Jeju Satori corner with our Jeju Satori teacher, Juyoung Han. Thank you again for being with us. What do you have for us today?
So today, I'm gonna teach you a special vowel that is used only in Jeju because it's no longer used in the modern Korean language.
Mhm.
You probably have seen a lot
We've
actually
probably
on the
seen it a lot.
road. Yeah, on the
Oh, really?
road. In a convenience store. Like
Oh,
or restaurant.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially Hanyo,
Kenya, okay.
women divers restaurant run
Okay.
by the divers
Uh-huh.
because we call them 좀녀.
Oh, the traditional Jeju. Yeah, because the Henyo are not traditionally known as Henyo. They're known as what is that? Jomyo?
Yes, 좀녀.
Oh, interesting.
So, and also you can see the special vowel. It's the shape of the vowel is like dot. Yeah,
Like a dot?
literally dot. Yeah. So if we like 혼자 없어 얘, right? So the hon, there's a one consonant and special vowel and bottom consonant, right? So that we pronounce it as O sound. So 혼자 없어 얘.
So so just for our listeners and people can see, it's like a big period in the middle.
Yes.
And what's the sound? What sound does this specific vowel make?
Wait, see, well, like apparently it's sound between and O.
Oh.
Yeah, I and O. Yeah. So we like people, modern Korean people cannot pronounce it correctly anymore. So in the mainland, like people pronounce it as sound.
Okay.
Yeah. So 잠녀.
Jamnya.
Yeah, 잠녀.
This is so difficult because I'm trying to figure out where the vowel is and I can't see it by pronouncing it.
You mentioned that we would see it in a convenience store. Where would we see that in a convenience store?
Oh, that's interesting. So like I'm vegetarian, right? So like I was trying to eat some cracker and then I was like checking what's in the cracker and I found out one specific cracker has beef seasoning in it.
Oh.
And I was talking about it with my friend, and I was like, "Oh, I'm shocked that chom cracker is not vegan or vegetarian or something like that." And then the friend from the mainland was like, "What are you talking about? It's cham cracker. Why are you
Why'd you say it so weird?
Yeah, chom cracker." And I'm like, "What the fuck? It's chom cracker." And I asked everyone I know, from Jeju, and they all say it's chom cracker. And she asked everyone she knows from the mainland, and like people said it's
so
chom
weird.
cracker. Yeah, and I found out like 5-6 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. So even though it's ancient word that most Koreans don't use in the now Korean language, just somehow on Jeju, that just has been that, especially that particular word has stayed around.
Yes.
Even those that don't use Jeju dialect.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, yeah. Okay. That's very interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's great. It is everyone. These are very, very common crackers too, and you will be surprised when you realize because it's not. It's only become a Jeju Satori vowel because it's no longer used on the mainland. But it's very fascinating because it's part of the reason why Jeju dialect is so distinct. Thank you so much for bringing this to our attention, Juyoung.
Yeah, Juju, this was a very interesting lesson. Very interesting. And do you mind saying just one more time for me and our audience, can you say the name of the henyo again? The way you said it with the vowel?
좀요.
Jomya.
Right.
좀요.
Double J? Double J?
No.
Chom? No.
좀요.
And the first vowel is the Jeju vowel, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jom. So jomyo, and then can you give me another example of a word with this vowel?
Do you know the computer program? It's called Hangul program. Yeah, Hangul program has that vowel. So I used to call it Hangul program.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
So wow,
I mean,
in
you
my
guys
head,
don't
I'm
use
like
that,
literally
that
trying
program.
to picture that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. Okay.
And also, I don't know. I see them. Yeah, 좀요, 혼자 없어요.
Yeah.
촘크래커, 혼글.
Paige, I'm gonna be on the hunt for these now.
Yeah.
We should have like a little
scavenger
hunt.
Bingo, that's a great idea, ladies and gentlemen. If you signed Jeju, this vowel, the vowel name is
아레아.
Send it to us on our Instagram, Miyu Jeju or Miyu Jeju at Instagram, or email, or all those good places. Wow, thanks again, Juyoung. This is a fantastic lesson.
That was such a good one. Thank you, Juju. Well, all right. That was pretty interesting. Do you know that after living here, I don't even know how many years I've lived here, but long enough that I should know. I had no idea henyo had a whole nother secret name. How ignorant is that? I had no idea.
Yeah, I was familiar with it because I was familiar with it, and I sort of knew about the vowel too.
Yeah, I think I knew about the vowel too, but yeah, and I
didn't realize it was a hangover though. Like I didn't realize
that it was like right. And when she said the henyo, it triggered something. Like I know I've heard that, but I just never made a connection. But anyways, that was really interesting.
And it makes me wonder why we don't use that word, or why we use henyo. Like it raises that question to me. Like why are we why henyo then?
We should try to find that out. But like we mentioned in the lesson, absolutely, you guys have a little scavenger hunt. Let us know where you see that vowel around. Take a picture of it and share it with us on our Instagram page or our Facebook page or our email. We'd love to see if you guys have been able to spot the vowel in the wilds.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'd love to see it. Yeah. You can email to us at gmail.com or preferably just Instagram. Instagram
is always the best.
Yeah. Now, on to a more somber topic, which is Sunday, August 6th, a bomb threat was unfortunately called into 3 airports in Korea, including Jeju International.
And that was for Monday.
Yeah,
the specific one was for Monday.
Monday, 2 p.m. specifically.
Was very specific time.
Quote unquote terrorist bombing was to occur. Now, in response, the airports were searched, and fortunately, nothing was found. But I wouldn't be surprised if a black German Shepherd named Sue participated in the search of Jeju International Airport. Now,
it's very specific, Darryl.
Sue is the name of one of the island's cloned police dogs.
Say that again. What?
Sue is one of the police dog, whom I've actually had the pleasure to meet like 13 years ago when it was a pup. Now, coincidentally, just this weekend, I was reminded of this interview. I didn't interview the dogs because they don't speak, but of the story I covered.
You did get to meet the dogs and the program. You were,
It's fascinating. It's fascinating that how long this has gone on for. And Jeju is it. How do I phrase it? I think there's lots of
going on here,
police dogs, not just in Jeju, in Korea now. But I believe Korea, Jeju is where it started back in 2010 with these 5 police dogs that were cloned that Jeju got. Now, the story behind it, are you familiar with the story at all?
It rings one of those faraway bells where you're just like, whoa, is that really happening on this small island that I live, especially 10 years ago? You know, here on Jeju, it was very different island back there. So a vague memory of being like, whoa, I kind of remember that. And I kind of remember how shocked and surprised I was that it was actually happening in this tiny country island.
Yeah, it actually sparked my interest in cloning, and I did a lot more work about cloning on the island, but we'll get into some of that on a later date. So now, the story about the clone dog goes back to March 16th, 2007, when it's tragic, when a 9-year-old girl named Yang Ji-sung was abducted on her way home from Hagwon in Seogwipo City. And this sparked a nationwide manhunt for her. It actually was the Korea's first Amber Alert ever. Was trying to find this girl. And after failing to be able to locate her, they got a dog, a black German Shepherd named Quinn, who was only a few months old at the time. They dispatched him to Jeju a month after Ji-sung's disappearance and trained her with the use of a decomposing pork that they buried under the ground so they could hopefully find where this little girl was because they had given up. At that point,
they decided she was.
It's really terrible. I don't want to.
No. Are you going to get into what she ever found?
So after they trained Quinn for 3 weeks, on April 25th, 40 days after Yang went missing, Quinn was deployed to Seogwipo and found her body wrapped in black plastic bags under a pile of debris in a barn some 100 meters from our home. He found her in less than 30 minutes.
Dang.
Yeah. So
and not her scent, but just not to be but wow. Okay.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, I don't I would have thought her scent, but yeah, I mean, considering what they were training her with, not within 30 minutes, despite everybody on the island and in Korea looking for
even 100 meters away.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The suspect was arrested. He lived in that barn. He was probably a homeless person from a homeless body, from what I could tell. And he admitted to let's just leave it at killing the poor girl. Okay. And the police cued in, they're like, there's something special about this dog's olfactory capabilities.
Right.
And so he was chosen in 2009 to be cloned by the disgraced stem cell researcher Hwang Wook-suk, who you may be familiar with.
Huh?
What?
Did you say the disgraced?
Sure. Yeah, they recently actually came out with a Netflix documentary about him because he was one of the huge cloners back in the early 2000s, but then he found out to have fabricated and committed some immoral practices in his cloning industry, and I believe he was convicted, but I don't recall that at the moment. But anyway, he was contacted.
So you're dropping way too many bombs on me, Daryl. So he started
his company. Yeah, him and his company were hired.
Started the program with this specific dog.
And they took stem cells from the dog's ear and cloned 5 police dogs out of them.
Unbelievable.
And those 5 police dogs were sent to Jeju as pups. So I met them when they're these wee, and they weren't that wee, but they were less than 6 months old. And I got to meet Quinn too.
Wait. Clarify. Yep. His lab is not specifically on Jeju.
No, he's in Seoul.
Okay, I just want to. Okay, but then when they did it, the dogs were deployed here, basically.
Because Jeju paid for them, right?
Yeah. Okay.
After this,
they paid for this program. Okay.
Yeah, they had this idea because this dog was so good at what it did. They're like, okay, we need to do this. We need to keep this dog and have more of these dogs. Yeah. So. And when I heard about this, I was fascinated about it. So I was surprised that
I met the pups.
I couldn't touch them though. I was not allowed to touch them. I remember
really?
I kept this in my story. Yeah, because there were these dogs there because they're like puppies, right? But they're bigger than puppies.
No.
Yeah, and I'm like, are they friendly? And the handler smiled at me and said no, because they're trained not to be friendly. Because they're bomb sniffing and police dogs.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
At 6 months old, they were kept in their like these metal like cages, not cages. I don't like. They were like pens that you put animals in.
Kennels.
Yeah,
kennel.
And one of them was he was chained up in the kennel when I got there, and I asked, "Why is this one chained up?" Because he had destroyed his metal like holding bin. That's how strong these dogs are. They're massive. They're like wolves.
Okay.
And so they were trained, and I believe 3 of them have been. I found out that 3 of them are in active duty or have been as of a couple years ago. One is Sue, and then 2 others that I had met went to Incheon International Airport.
Yeah, the airport. Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
And these dogs are seeing.
You just said there's 3 are still active.
As of a couple years ago that I could find.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
It's crazy that this is a story from so long ago. This isn't a modern story. This is like, this happened in, years ago.
Yeah, I did this story back in 2010. Yeah, and their dogs, these dogs, like their dog, I believe they're probably just bomb sniffing, they're bomb sniffing dogs. But the main purpose of them. And when I started like looking into this a little bit further for our own for the segment to see if I could find any new information, I came across a random 2015 article that mentioned sort of that this was so successful, this project, that the government, the Korean government, not the Jeju government, went out and purchased 40 clone dogs. Yeah, so I'm wondering.
So how more clone dogs are just out there?
They could mostly be clone dogs at this point.
Yeah, police dogs.
Which are the
probably not that many in Korea. Yeah,
but specifically to do the sniffing of bombs, narcotics, things of that nature, right? Like. When I interviewed them, they said that the main reason why they were interested in getting these dogs was not for the airport necessarily, but because of all the new events that were happening, right? Asian, the Jeju Forum.
Like the big that everyone's coming to.
Exactly. There was a need to have
patrolling
better
and safety precautions. Yeah,
exactly.
Wow.
And Quinn retired. No, Quinn is the dog. Quinn is the dog.
Now I'm getting so confused.
Quinn, I'm looking at my notes here. Yeah, so the 40 clone dogs was a 2014 article, and it was going to cost $1 million to produce 40 clone police dogs. And at that time in 2014, there were 14 clone police dogs in the force already at that time.
Okay. And then they're plus the 40.
Plus the 40. Now,
wow.
Let me find out. So Quinn retired in June 2016 after 11 years in service, and he had been deployed on like 200 missions. And after that, so I believe the one of finding the girl's body was probably one of his first, if not his first mission.
Yeah, I would imagine so, right?
Yeah. And he was given...
No, keep going. He was given what?
He was given a collar bearing the honorary rank of lieutenant when he retired.
Nice. I wonder if he gets to keep him, his handler, or...
Definitely his handler. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm pretty confident
that's what they do in the States,
person
who could control the dog. Yeah, okay.
He's huge.
He really was. I can't picture because you're like wolf-like, and I'm like, dang, Darryl, that's pretty big. I have pictures of it, and
I can't recall ever seeing a dog that big before.
Okay, interesting.
And it's fascinating. And this started and the reason why I wanted to talk about it is it just came up on my, remembering my
Your
timeline that
memories.
I had done this. I was like 20 pounds lighter, better hair, younger, dashing, and I was surrounded.
All right.
But
By
I don't
dogs.
know. By all these and the police officers, it was such a great interview, and it kind of sparked my interest in seeing like maybe what else is going on Jeju with the cloning. Maybe I'm going to make some phone calls and see
what's up. Yeah, I would be very interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so if you guys know anything else about the cloning industry on Jeju, please give us drop us a line at our Instagram page, me, you, and Jeju.com. No, there's no .com, and you know what I'm talking about. But that's
I'm just down.
Yeah, but that's been another episode, I think, of me, you, and Jeju.
Just a quick little Did You Know? A whole episode of Did You Knows.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for being with us. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back at you soon. Until then, have a good one.
Ciao, ciao.